What's good, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Writer's Room. Today, we are discussing this grand finale of Power Book Force, episode 10. This is season 2. They brought it, and I was so happy that the SAG-AFTRA strike ended just right before the finale because Force needed to get out this promo. This finale was absolutely insane, and I hate to say my girl Claudia may not make it to season 3, but we'll talk about what happened to her and if I do think that, she'll pull through. But nonetheless, let's start at the beginning. We start out the episode with Diamond and Tommy talking. This is post Tommy watching Vic get out of the car with Stacy, and he basically tells Diamond, I effed up. Nobody feels as bad as I do because there was a wool pulled over my head, over my eyes with Vic. I don't know what I was thinking. Diamond's pissed off because, of course, Tommy has been blaming it on everybody else. He's blamed it on Shanti. He's blamed it on Jannard. He's just anybody that was associated with Jannard because I don't know, for some reason in Tommy's eyes, Jannard is disloyal. Jannard may have been, a little bit of a crackhead at the beginning of the season, but disloyal, not so much until later on, and we'll talk about it. But basically, Tommy is like, we'll handle it. I am going to make Vic pay. And we're going to start off by cutting him off at the feet and using him to our advantage with the police. Now, briefly, we go into your girl, Maria. And I was told by somebody in the comments, it is Maria. We see that from the last episode, Maria and Tommy had that talk. She said, te amo, which we know means I love you in Spanish. And Tommy sent her basically Barcelona tickets so that they can kind of get away. I still didn't know why Tommy did that at the height of what's going on. So my mind is still a little twisted with why this was written in here. But I do know that it goes along with what happened and what we see with Miguel later on. So I guess it just had to be in there. But anyways, moving along, we go back to Vic. We see that Tommy and Vic are on top of the building. And I was so happy they did not give me an underwhelming kill with Vic. Because it did feel like a little bit that this was going to be the last moment with Vic, and I just did not want another underwhelming kill. I know with Nunez, I wanted something more. We've seen Miguel be ruthless the whole season that it made no sense to take out Nunez in that manner, but I am happy that Vic was not given the same underwhelming unalive. So we see that Tommy and Diamond are really hyping up Vic, giving him his props, like, we couldn't have done this without you. We couldn't have brought all these teams together if it wasn't for you giving up your north side. So you really did your thing here, Vic. And Vic is kind of uneasy with this conversation, but he doesn't see anything different. I think because he's so blinded by trying to get out of the game that he's not reading between the lines. They know you're a snitch, dude. So it's time to go ahead and start creating a plan B. But anyways, we just know that Tommy is doing this to get Vic to come out to the quote unquote meetup with the cartel lead, which is exactly what Stacy wants, but she's gonna fall a little bit short of what she was gunning for. Next, we go into a brief scene of Shanti and Tommy where Tommy broke into Shanti's area where she does all of her boxing matches and practices and everything. And Shanti's once again pissed off, like, why am I seeing this man? And I didn't quite understand this scene until it got to the end of the episode, and I was like, wow, Tommy did that. But he is telling Shanti, yeah, I'll bring you in on what's going on. She does things on her own terms and she stays in her own lane. So Tommy tells her, okay, you want me to put a little bit more trust in you? You want me to put you in the loop? Watch and learn. He tells Shanti, I need you to get more intel on where Claudia and Markovich are going to be meeting up with the cartel lead, aka the Marquez's cartel. And we still don't know why, but I started to put 2 and 2 together that Tommy is making a plan to pin this all on Claudia. But we do see in the next scene that Jannard is worried about Shanti because Shanti is out with Tommy, and Jannard is like, when can we get rid of Tommy? And Diamond tells him, Tommy, this is all Tommy's doing. Without him, we wouldn't have even brought all of these gangs together to create one super gang. So we did this, we did X, Y, and Z to make it look like the Serbs have been attacking Miguel, and now Miguel and the Serbs are at war. And once the Serbs completely fall off the map, we are going to take over their territory. And so this kind of sparks something in Jannard's eyes. You can see that all right, they're making plans without, consulting me, without telling Shanti. So Jannard is going to bring this information to Shanti, and they are going to use it to their full advantage. And now Jannard is thinking, do I want to get rid of Diamond? This might be the perfect time to get rid of Diamond. I guess we will have to wait till season 3 to see what Jannard does. And, of course, he does bring that to Shanti's attention later on in the episode. Going to the next scene, we have Vic bringing all of this information over to Stacy and the lieutenant. He tells them, hey, they're about to meet for the drop. They want me there. So I will let you know of the date and the time. And you need to put me in WITSEC. And Stacy once again moves the goalpost, and Vic is like, y'all are never going to let me out of your grasp. Now, he does start to believe them. He really just trusts and feels comfortable with the lieutenant because the lieutenant actually does things the legal way. And Stacy wants Vic to carry the plan all the way through, meaning you show up, you go to the spot. As soon as we get Tommy and our possession arrested, we'll send you out within the next hour. None of this is believed by Vic, but yet and still he does trust them. Now, this scene right here, I was concerned because I knew that having this scene that Claudia was going to lose, whether by way of Vic or by way of Tommy this episode, because she just started spilling her beans. You can tell that she does love her brother, but she had a moment where she wanted power so bad that she was willing to sacrifice her brother. And Vic is like, I am signing everything over to you, because in Vic's eyes, he's leaving either way it goes. So, but I want closure. I want to know, tell me that you did this and you tried to take out me and Dad, or shall I say, Daw. But you tried to take us out. And like a fool, Claudia says yes. And I just already knew that Vic was holding this over her, and he had her recorded. And as soon as he turned the corner out the room, he tells her like, hey, don't worry about it. I got what I needed from you. And you can see that he is recording the conversation that he had with Claudia. Now, I would just briefly touch on this scene where we see Tommy coming home to where JP is normally at. And we see Kate. And Kate just tells him, I know about everything. I know about D-Mag being placed in care. And I'm not going to tell you where he's at right now in this moment, but he did escape from that little hellhole you had him in. Tommy is pissed off and tells her he took out a cop, and that is the reason why he's not able to be in town right now. So where is he? Now in the next scene, we do see where he is. He's still playing video games, living his best life with his best friend. Once again, the bestie is giving up too much information to D-Mac. We know D-Mac is an F up. Not only that, he's still trying to get back in the gangs. So when he hears that Diamond wants Mad Dog, the guy that took out Leon, taken out, he's like, okay, that's cool. Diamond can't do anything about it because we are now working, or CBI is now working with the Ordeves, and the Ordeves is King Kilo, and Mad Dog is King Kilo's nephew. So what I'm going to do is help them out. I know I helped them out with the cop, and I can help Diamond out again. And so he leaves, and at this point, I can't save D-Mac. I don't even want him saved in this show anymore because D-Mac is an F-up. He's similar to Kanan and Tariq. Y'all are just F-ups. So we'll see how that goes next season. We go to Miguel, and I really played Miguel in this still shot. But anyways, we go to Miguel and his right-hand man, and they are basically talking about their distrust for Tommy and how even though they got revenge on Nunez, on account of Tommy. Tommy was the one who brought Nunez to him, and Nunez took out Abuelita. Now, Abuelita couldn't stand Tommy, so Miguel is like, the best thing that we could do is make sure Tommy doesn't see the light of day again. We know that his right-hand man does go to see Tommy later on in the episode, and it does not go well at all. And he shoots at Tommy, and it was so good because he had a kill shot at Tommy and decided to see if he was really, taken out, because we see that Tommy's head is on the steering wheel and he's pushing on the horn. So it appeared that Tommy had gotten hit, and he didn't. He was just tricking homeboy and tricked him again and was like, you know what? I want you to bring a message to Miguel. And right when homeboy walked away, he pulled a Franklin from Snowfall. And we all know what Franklin did on that season finale of that series finale of Snowfall, where he just completely fell out of pocket and was taking out the innocent people. And Although Miguel's right-hand man is not innocent, that was really petty for Tommy to be like, yeah, I'm gonna send a message through you. And as soon as he walks away, takes him out and was like, you know what, never mind, I'll tell him myself. So it does not go well, but I do think that the right-hand man was expecting that. We don't have to talk too much on this scene. This is Claudia and her girlfriend. Of course, the girlfriend is giving Claudia the world, and Claudia is still reflecting back on when Da was alive, on everything that has happened to her as this boss lady, but not being able to shine within her family because she is a woman. And her friend is like, you know what, Cloudy, I'll give you everything you want. And we get a sex scene. We cannot have a power episode without sex, but we do get one from them. So shout out to Claudia, girl, get it in. Then we see Tommy and Maria, and it seems like everybody in this episode were having moments of reflection to the camera. It was kind of like them not breaking the fourth wall, but having an internal monologue or dialogue, depending on who else is in the scene with them. But they're reflecting a lot in this episode because we see Maria having this inner monologue within her eyes. You can see it. Her romance with Tommy is her escape from her family. I don't even think it's so much that she truly just loves Tommy, but they're both escaping from something. And I just love having this inner monologue with everyone here on the show during this episode. The love that's in the air is unfortunately ruined by seeing Kate. Why Kate went to Tommy, I don't know. I guess to rub it in his face that, hey, I'm the only girl for you. When she sees Maria and she's laughing like, why are you here? Do you know what he does? Do you know his past girls, how he's gotten them offed or unalived? And Maria is just really copping her attitudes. I know what I'm getting myself into. I know all of this. I know all of that. Clearly, she did not. But we see that back and forth with Tommy and his mom. I'd said this before and I will say it again. Their relationship dynamic is that of a wife and a husband almost. It's very strange that Kate is kind of relying on Tommy. That's kind of like her partner. And Tommy has this disdain for his mom, but also wants every girl that he's with to kind of have similarities to his mom. It does not faze Maria at all. And Tommy's like, yeah, that's my boo. She just spoke to you like that. And he sends Kate on her way per usual, but before he sends her on the way, he packs in her pocket that little bag of coke that is going to be almost the death of Kate later on in the episode. Tommy just gets more and more ruthless with Kate, and I just really hated to see that relationship. Although it is very strange, it did seem like they were making way and making traction towards a better relationship, so it was kind of sad seeing what happens later on. Going back to your boy D-Mac, he is carrying out the plan that he set forth to help Diamond in getting revenge for Leon. Now, why Mad Dog didn't have the wisdom to know that, hey, something's about to go down. This man is saying, hey, yo, gang, like, you need to be ready. You need to have your hand on the pistol as much as you were with Leon. And it just let me know Mad Dog wasn't about no type of life. He was just picking on Leon. And when Leon had the chance, the upper hand against him in fighting, that's when he resorted to using his gun. So I can't lie and say that I was not satisfied with this. Even though he was underage, I was still satisfied because justice for Leon. Before D-Mac leaves the scene, he takes a picture of Mad Dog in the state that he's in now so that he can later bring to Diamond. Which, when he brings it to Diamond, Diamond is surprised because Tommy said that he took care of D-Mac, but I guess not in the way that Diamond suspected. And we know Diamond from previous conversations with Jannard, age is nothing but a number. So when he pulled out his gun in front of D-Mac, I thought it was over for D-Mac right then and there. Put in the comments down below if you thought that D-Mac's last breath was going to be this conversation with Diamond, because it definitely felt like Diamond was going to be the one to take out D-Mac for good, because your boy D-Mac has been tripping throughout this whole episode. I mean, I didn't think it could get worse than Kanan giving out the blue caps, but it got worse, y'all. It got worse. And Diamond sees that D-Mac is more of a problem, but it's too much to think about right now. D-Mac thought he was helping, but Diamond is like, what am I gonna do? Because I told everybody in CBI to stand down. as long as they don't recognize that you were the one who did it, you know, we're gonna chill for right now. But we know right after this, Jannard and Diamond are talking, and Diamond tells Jannard that unfortunately D-Mac was spotted and D-Mac was associated with CBI. So even if he's not in CBI right now, we know that he did this to take revenge for Leon. So Jannard tells Diamond, I have an idea, I have a plan. Maybe I can be the one to tell King Kilo that D-Mac was the one who did this. And I will bring him to King Kilo, dead or alive, because we know from this conversation with Jannard and Kilo that Kilo is actually about to get out of prison. Whew, so we know that's about to be a whole villain that's going to be added to the storyline next season. And Jannard is already one step ahead with that. And Diamond pretty much approves this plan because he does not care if kids are involved when it comes to the gang-related activity. So on top of D-Mac taking out Mad Dog, this is another secret that Diamond is keeping from Tommy. So it seems like everybody is keeping secrets, no loose ends, as they say. And speaking of loose ends, Mirkovich and Claudia are meeting with Shanti, and of course Shanti's girlfriend is there because she's pretty much the sponsor behind this whole ordeal. So we see Claudia is in her bag right now. She's feeling untouchable. So when she goes to visit Tommy after they find out where they're going to meet up with the Marquez cartel, Mirkovich tells her, you're going to do this by yourself. I won't be there. And Claudia is like, that's fine, I will do it alone. Shanti is okay with it. For once, Shanti is not really biting back. That should have been the first indicator that Shanti may not be riding out for Claudia like I thought she was. So when Claudia pulls up on Tommy outside of his crib, I mean broad daylight, she got the serfs behind her. She's talking mad-ish to Tommy like, I'm untouchable now. I'm with the Marquez cartel. You can't touch me. And Tommy is still pretending with Shanti that they are beefing. He's like, oh, so this is where you went? You went to betray me like this? And Shanti says, I know a winner when I see one. We've heard her say this before. So when she said that, I knew it was up. Shanti is about to betray Claudia in the most heinous way, which I hate, but then I love to see. Speaking of betrayal, we see that Vic is still not on to Tommy, knowing that he's a snitch, but Vic is still there. And I don't think Tommy knows about the mic that's planted underneath his counter yet, but we see that Vic is now given the intel of the meetup spot, quote unquote, the meetup spot. We know that Shanti has already given him this intel. I didn't know exactly how it was shaping up, but I figured that he was actually putting Claudia in the position to get caught and not himself. So this turned out to be an amazing plan. And the lieutenant tried to tell Stacy in this moment, I have worked on CBI. I have studied CBI. We know at the beginning of season 2, the lieutenant has shown that he knows the streets, at least the streets where CBI is located at. And he's like, this doesn't match the profile of CBI. Why is it all the way on the north side? That should have been an indicator for Stacy that you are not going to catch the cartel that Tommy is associated with. You're not going to catch Tommy. Stacy is almost worse than Sax. I hate to say that she may actually be worse than Sax at this moment. Sis, you should have known that this was not going to be that easy. Now, this particular scene was a rough scene for me to watch. It kind of reminded me of the first season of Power Book 3, Kanan, because we see that D-Mac has completely fell off to the deep end, and he is pushing away everybody that loves him. And when he used that derogatory word to JP, my heart sank. And then when he called and cussed out Kate, it was just everybody in this scene is hurt and in misery, and they're causing misery on everyone else. And we see that at the end of this scene, Kate does take out the bag of cocaine that Tommy gave to her, and she's contemplating using it. We know that anytime something goes wrong with Kate, she does return back and default back to what she knows best, which unfortunately is being on drugs. So Kate does suffer from an overdose later on in the episode because of this. Then you have Stacy. Stacy is happily bringing the news about busting Tommy and the cartel once and for all to her crew, and everybody's excited. Homegirl's like, oh, I hope he catches a stray. I mean, she's wishing death upon Tommy, okay? Vargas was taken out by Vic, their CI. But Stacy is like, this time tomorrow, we will be arresting Tommy Egan. And that's all that she cares about. So when she makes the call to Vic and tells him to be in place and that she is going to be the one to arrest him along with everybody else once she does make the bust, and a little bit after she arrests him, she will let him go into WinSec. Now, she's only arresting Vic because she doesn't want any suspicion going back to Vic. Little does she know they did a crap job with Vic being the CI. And Tommy already knows that Vic is a CI and a snitch. Vic hangs up the phone, and guess where he is at? He is talking to Gloria for the last time. He says, that this is going to be one of the last visits that I'll be able to make, because once I go into WITSEC, I will be unable to step foot into Chicago because I am a snitch to everyone's eyes. Not only that, I have run amok in these streets, with giving up my territory to Claudia and then snitching on Claudia, now the cartels. He's going to have 2 cartels after him at this point. Vic has already written his death certificate, and it's just a matter of time. So seeing him make all of these decisions based on him being in mourning of Gloria is just a sad way to go out, considering he took out Da with no problems, and I was actually okay with that. Let me stop calling that man Da. Walter Flynn. Now we're at the big finale. It is going down. Stacy has her crew, including her husband, the lieutenant, out at the spot at the meetup, and we see that they're noticing, where is Tommy? Tommy and Vic are nowhere to be seen, and they actually see Claudia and the Serbs. And the lieutenant is like, I knew I was busting the wrong cartel. Like, I knew something was fishy because we are all the way on the north side. And this makes more sense that we are actually catching the Serbs with their hands dirty, the Marquez cartel, which a win is a win. So this is still a good win. And we know that Claudia, before Claudia's tried to escape, one of the lieutenant's men, whose name is Rankin, RIP to Rankin, but Rankin was taken out during this whole bust. And we see that Claudia tries to weasel her way, tries to use her feminine charm to get out of this, once again, this trouble that she has with the police. And the lieutenant tells her, babes, we've got bigger fish to fry. You are not only in conspiracy of this RICO case of dealing drugs, but I got you recorded on a line of the attempted murder against your brother, as well as the murder of Walter Flynn, your father. So Claudia puts 2 and 2 together and was like, Vic set me up. Not only has he set me up with this raid, but he set me up to confess to the murder of my dad and him, or the attempted murder of Vic, even though Vic was in on the murder of Da. Not only that, Vic actually was the one who committed the murder. Vic is getting away with murdering 2 people, Vargas, a cop, as well as murdering his dad, Walter Flynn. So it is a mess. Claudia kind of already has this idea that Vic is behind this, even though Vic is completely surprised that all of this is going down with her. Vic is in the car with Tommy and is like, this ain't the north side. I thought we were going to the north side to meet up. And he sees that Stacy is blowing his phone up. Tommy is looking real sinister right now. He's looking at Vic like, you got something to tell me? Answer your phone, Vic. Vic is like, no, it's all good. And I don't know why at this moment he decides to throw Claudia under the bus, even though he should know that Tommy is smart. Tommy already knows that Claudia was the one that took out Liliana, and it's just too late to give up any information. Vic does have an idea that Tommy might be suspecting him, but he has to just go along with this plan as if everything is okay. Meanwhile, Stacy is having a fit. She's like, this is not a good win to me. I have bigger goals. I have bigger dreams. Everybody is like, you need to be happy with this win. We have a cartel here. Like, we still made history here. We still are able to put a RICO on like 3 different people. But you need to have some consideration that our partner, our friend Rankin, was taken out during this raid that you set up to take out Tommy Egan. And now you're still not satisfied with it because Tommy Egan was not taken out. We know that Stacy feels this way because Tommy has always evaded the police. And one thing about Stacy is, like Saxe, Stacy has become obsessed with criminals evading the police and evading accountability for what they are committing in the streets. And this is really taking over Stacy's life and taking over her husband. Her husband was best friends with Rankin. And the fact that she is showing no support, no love, and no remorse over what happened today. Oh, the lieutenant is up. I can imagine that the lieutenant and Stacy will probably be separated at the beginning of next season, if not divorced already, because Stacy is not having it. Now, when we move on to Che, we see Che is met up. Che does not like to be summoned, especially by this güero, okay? Tommy has summoned Che and told him that we've taken out the Serbs. Not only have we taken out the Serbs, but the Serbs are gone. Like, Mirkovic is arrested. And CBI's fingerprints are not on there. Miguel's fingerprints are not on there. They just look like they got caught, or somebody was a snitch in their crew and they got caught. So this is like good news for Che. Che's like, okay, bet. Well, since you did accomplish all of this, I will name you the successor of the Serbs. However, Miguel stays. And because Miguel is staying, he's going to play nice with you. I'm going to set up a meeting between you both. And this is kind of like a congratulatory, meetup. Everybody's drinking, Che's getting a drink, and then Tommy does this thing with Jannard, and I think this pretty much seals Maria's deal, because he tells Jannard, like, whisk him off to get Che some drink. And he treated Jannard as a peon to the CBI crew, and I think that was the moment where Jannard was like, all right, bet I'ma mess up your whole good thing that you got going with Miguel's sister. I don't think at the time of the meetup with Tommy, Diamond, and Miguel that Miguel was aware or made privy to any of the information regarding Maria and Tommy. Otherwise, I think Miguel would have went off and clipped Tommy's wings right then and there. But we see that Miguel is following the request of Che and playing nice, although you can tell through their eyes they hate each other. So just a matter of time before Miguel makes another move on Tommy, and Tommy asked about his right-hand man, like, oh, where's your boy at? He was the first that called me güero, and I kind of miss him. Miguel knows that, his buddy's gone. He knows that, but he's playing nice once again with Tommy at the request of Che. Now the time has come. I don't care. Fight me in the comments, but I effed with Claudia and her boss moves. I don't know. But Claudia, I really love that her intention was to always be this boss, and she just always fell below the goal line because she really had no one in her corner to support her except for this girl, her girlfriend that she has now. But unfortunately, Claudia talks to Shanti and tells her, oh, my brother set this up, blah, blah, blah. And Shanti uses that same phrase, I know a winner when I see one. Claudia's like, what the hell are you talking about? And she realizes, Shanti, did you set me up? And that's when Tommy peeks around the corner and was like, hey, Claudia, in the most sinister voice. Claudia is now made aware that she's been hoed not only by Vic, but by Shanti, by Tommy, by everyone in her crew that she thought she could trust. She has been hoed. So she realizes that her time is near, and guess what? Tommy tells her, I'm getting my revenge for Liliana once and for all. And we see that one of the girls that was in the prison talking on the phone when the camera first panned by, we see that she is the one that takes out the knife and puts it in Claudia's back. Now, we don't actually see that Claudia is, deceased, but we do know that this is a power universe. I'm sure they will let us know on season 3, episode 1, that Claudia did not make it. So I'm kind of sad to see that, but rest in peace, Claudia. You were the girl, okay? After hearing Claudia breathing one of her last breaths, Tommy and Shanti end up hanging up the phone, and Shanti is like, you know what? I really F with you, Tommy. Like, you a real one for real. I couldn't tell if Shanti was being serious or not, but clearly she's not being serious, because Tommy is like, I got one more thing for you. Me and you still have to be beefing on the streets, but I got something that you could help me with that can lead us closer to working together. We're not told what that thing is that Tommy and Shanti have struck a deal with, but when Tommy gets back home and sees Kate, drugged out, she's overdosing, and he realizes what's happening and how close it is for Kate to go, you kind of see him go into this inner space where he just blacks out and he's crying, and everything that's happening, I don't think he's actually taking it in, but Kate is dying. And so when JP comes down the stairs and he sees Kate sprawled out on the floor, with her hand out, reaching out for Tommy, and Tommy just sat there and let her pretty much overdose there in front of him. He didn't call the police or anything. JP is pissed off. JP's like, what are you doing? Call the police. And you can see that JP has had it up to here with Tommy. He had a real mends. He made a real mends with his mother, with Kate. And he is taking it upon himself, and especially with what's happened with D-Mac. And we know that D-Mac is a part of this lifestyle as well. He kind of blames Tommy for it, although he should be blaming himself. He says, I am done with you, Tommy. I'm done with you, and Kate is done with you. We don't want you showing your face no more. So Tommy is losing everything that he's ever loved in this episode alone. Also, while he's at the hospital, he asks another nurse, like, hey, tell Maria that, we're here. She knows us and she'll help out. And the nurse is like, oh, Maria never came in today. And so he starts to trip out just a little bit. He starts calling Maria and he's like, leaving a voicemail like, hey, babe, where are you? We know something has happened to Maria, and we know that picture has probably gone to Miguel, or Miguel found out about Maria some way, somehow. So as we get to the next scene, we just see that Jannard is back, baby. Jannard took his car back, okay, like a man. Him and Shanti went up there and jacked that car right back. The serves dude was like, oh, we don't have to use violence. Sir, you stole my car. Like, you humiliated me. Yes, I'm using violence. But those are Jannard's words, not mine. Anyways, moving on. Now going into one of the last scenes of the episodes, CBI is having a celebratory meetup at the spot, at the bar. All drinks on Tommy. It's an open bar. You guys deserve it. You earned it. We are now in the serve spot. Now, when they go over into their side conversation, Diamond and Tommy talk about what should have been happening to Vic. Diamond is confused because he thought Vic was going to be, taken out in this time. Tommy then tells Diamond that we could make use of Vic. Let's take advantage of the fact that he is a criminal informant. He is a snitch, but let's reverse psychology this thing and make Vic leak information from the police with us so that we can stay one step ahead of the police while we make this climb into being the sole distributors of the city. And all I could think in my head while Vic is at this abandoned warehouse with Tommy's boys is,
it's your ass, Mr. Postman.
So while Vic is running around at this warehouse like, what's going on, you guys? The boys are like, we're just told that the original meetup was trash and something happened and we have to meet up here, so we have to stay here and just wait for the next move. Vic ends up answering the phone with Stacy. He steps aside. Stacy is pissed off, like, I should have you arrested. And of course Vic is like, what are you talking about? And Stacy is like, nothing went sideways with Tommy being there. Everything went perfectly according to plan. It just wasn't our plan. It was Tommy's plan, and we think you're in on it. And once Vic hears this, that Tommy never showed up at the spot at all, he realizes that Tommy's onto me. Tommy knows that I'm snitching on him, and that means I'm about to, And of course, Stacy starts freaking out because this is the only reason why Stacy has been making ground here with this case is because of Vic. So she's like, oh, stay right there. We're going to help you. Tommy has already made it known that we're going to allow him to get the space that he needs with the police so that he can inform us of what their next move is. And all I could think of in the moment where he's talking to Diamond and he's like, we own him now. All I could think of is,
I own you, nigga.
Rock was taking care of business, and I see that they recycled the line again. It didn't hit the same, but you know what I mean. Tommy was still doing his thing. Now going back to Jannard and Shanti very briefly, we see that Shanti has Tommy right where she wants him. She is following his every plan, his every move, even though she hates it. Her entire goal is to build trust with Tommy while he builds up CBI to be this sole distributor of the city. Now Jannard lets her know that, yeah, I sent this picture out with Tommy and Maria, and I sent it to Miguel. Miguel doesn't suspect who it is that sent it to him, and we just got to sit back and watch because Miguel is going to take care of our problem for us. So we finally find out where Maria is. Well, I guess we don't find out her exact location. We find out why she's been missing and why Tommy hasn't been able to get a hold of her. And so when Tommy sees that Maria is calling him at the bar and he answers that phone and hear Miguel on the other end, oh, Tommy loses it. And Miguel is just laughing. He is so, I hope that he didn't take out his own sister, but seeing as though his own sister was willing to take him out, who knows where Miguel put Maria. But Tommy is pissed off and leaves this episode with a facial expression of the gods, okay? What did you guys think of this finale? It was so grand. It was so good. R.I.P. to our girl, Claudia. R.I.P. to Rankin. Although I didn't know you long, brother, it was nice to get to know you in that 5 minutes that you were here. And none for Nunez. But this season was wild. I really hate that there was a strike going on because none of the actors were able to truly promote their show in solidarity of the union. And I'm so happy that they were able to for this last episode because they did their thing. So tell me what you think in the comments down below about this episode and about this season. This was a really good one for the books. I'm so proud of Tommy, of Joseph Sikora, of leading this show to where it is now. I'm so proud of the writers. Thankfully, we were able to come to an agreement that benefits both, parties involved. So tell me what you think of everything that went down in this episode. Do you think that Maria is going to be found? Do you think that Maria is still alive? And more importantly, now that Maria is gone, do you believe that Tommy will have the control over his emotions long enough to take out Miguel? Or do you think this is a win for Miguel? Either way it goes, this episode was crazy and it only signifies what season 3 is going to bring to me. So I'm excited to watch the next season. And I guess I'll see you guys on the next one for Power Book 3. Canaan story, or shall I say Raising Canaan, which comes back in December. I'm excited for that one. Stay tuned, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today for The Writers Room.